So today we're going to examine another TikTok trend that I think is bringing up some important conversations, and this is the pink tote lid trend. It's basically turned into a giant social media confessional for parents to jump online and talk about how awful they've been as parents, and for other people to jump online and talk about how awful their parents were in raising them. And while I think there are definitely good things that could come from this conversation, I also see the potential for it to spiral out of control. Let's get into it. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. I appreciate you being here, whether this is the first time you have clicked on one of my videos or you are a returning supporter. Please be sure to hit that thumbs up button, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, and make sure that your notifications are turned on so that you never miss out on a conversation like the one we're about to have. Let's get into this trend that, as I said, has been circulating across TikTok for the last few days. It all started when this teenage girl recorded herself in her room, and she was quietly sharing a story about her mom completely losing her cool with her and angrily asking her daughter to move the pink tote lids to her bedroom. She obviously handles what is a very minor issue with this unnecessary level of rage, and obviously it hurts her daughter's feelings. Since the whole thing started, I think she actually deleted the video, but because it took off in a way that she probably wasn't expecting, people downloaded the video. It's been circulating online and it will probably live on the internet forever. I will play a little bit of the original video, but unfortunately this 16, 17-year-old girl really likes her F-bombs, and I don't feel like editing out all of them. But just so you can get an idea of what she was saying and where this all started, I will play just a small clip of it.
Mom, what do you need help with? And she goes, I need you to put the pink things in my room. I look around and I'm like, I repeat what she said. I said, pink things? She looks at me like this. And then she said, JC, I need you to put the goddamn pink tote lids in my bedroom. The pink tote lids. Are you? You said pink things. Do you know how vague that is? And so I said that. And then my dad comes running out like, they're going off. They're both just going off on me. They don't shut the fuck up. Like,
To hear somebody else explain what is going on here, this is a video of a woman just giving a recap of what happened.
Second video posted and it has 45 million views. Basically, she made a video after an argument with her mom because her mom told her to do something and then like freaked out on her, screamed at her. The daughter was so mad, she went into her room, cried about it, made a video about it, about her feelings, and then now has over 100,000 followers.
I think you get the gist of it. She's in the shower, her mom bangs on the door, screaming at her about these pink tote lids. The daughter's completely confused about why her mom is upset, and then her dad joins in and they're all kind of yelling at this girl, and she goes into her room and she shares the video on social media and it blows up, and now everybody is just trauma dumping online. And of course, I completely feel for this girl. We've all been the kid at the receiving end of those moments, and you're like, why on earth did my mom or my dad just turn into a total psycho on me? And if you're a parent, you know you've had those times yourself, and you're like, wow, I was really a jerk just then. All feels very heavy in that moment, no matter what side of the issue you were on. But eventually, everybody calms down, we work things out, and we move on. In age, since everything can be turned into content for social media, and stories are even more likely to gain attention if they're negative, people latch onto it and use it as an invitation to open up about their trauma. And suddenly we just end up with this giant platform of everybody unloading everything that's ever happened to them in their childhood. And you just have to wonder, is social media the place to do that? Because while this girl thought she was just going online to vent about her mom, it turned into this internet full of social media psychologists generating a trend of pink tote lid moments. And then it completely spiraled. The girl posted one video online and now it has 45 million views. She has 100,000 followers on her account, and her mom's in the next room probably sitting there going, I don't know why I acted that way, and doesn't know that the entire world knows that she acted that way. And I see good things about it, but I also see so many problems coming from it because when you share something online, there's no context. There's only one side of the story, and there's no way to check and see if what people are sharing is true or are they just embellishing a story to get more views on their account. You just don't know. Are they telling the truth and trying to genuinely help a cause, or are they jumping on a trend just to boost their social media account? Are they trying to share something to reassure other parents that it's okay not to be perfect and to not beat yourself up about everything, especially if these things have already been resolved? Or on the other side, if you're somebody that wants to open up about an unhinged moment that you've had and you're looking for somebody to tell you that it's okay, it can get taken out of context. And then you have the entire internet convincing you that you really are an abusive parent, and they're now making you relive your mistakes over and over and over again. And that's not me saying that we should never share these things online, because obviously there's a lot of community that can be built in our struggles. And obviously, there are a lot of times parents really do need to be called out for their behavior. But there is so much potential for things to be taken the wrong way and have them create unhealthy outcomes for people who might be in a vulnerable place or who are already trying to reconcile their imperfections and their mistake. And now they have the entire internet jumping on this bandwagon, reinforcing their mistakes and not letting them heal from the things that they already regret doing. And not only that, these trends can take normal situations and abusive situations and meld them together in the same pot to where people who experienced truly harmful and neglectful things from their parents versus people who just have moments where their parents lashed out irrationally at times and just doing what the vast majority of parents do and lumping them all together. This leads to parents who never considered themselves abusive now thinking they are, and people who never would have thought that their parents were abusive toward them now thinking that they were. I just have so many concerns for the fact that there are no guardrails between the people who could truly benefit from hearing these stories and making sure that they get them in the right context versus the people who could be unnecessarily dragged down by this stuff and making them think that they're monsters when they're really not. There's just absolutely no way to control these situations, especially when they're shared by vulnerable, impressionable teenagers, and to make sure that the reaction to the things that they're sharing is not as big of an overreaction as the emotion that they described in the story that they shared. So I do want to show just a couple of things that people have shared. You can tell me if you think that this has the potential to be helpful to them or to blow up something that doesn't need to be blown up.
Me spending an entire hour down the TikTok rabbit hole of the pink tote mom. I am she. She is me. And believe me, it's not a club that you want to be in. Feel free to sit here with me for a few moments and we can figure out how to make it better and not be pink tote moms. Any advice is helpful. When I realize I'm being an asshole and when I'm screaming at them or hollering over some simple issue, I stop myself. But the damage is already done at that point. I am in therapy. I did tell my therapist about it. I still do not have a solution, but every day I'm trying. I'm a trying mom, and I'm trying really hard to be better for them.
From what I can tell, this mom is already taking the steps that she needs to fix those issues. But if she's looking for a solution that's going to keep her from ever losing her temper again, it's just not going to happen. And I could just see the comment section just completely turning this into a situation that it doesn't need to be. In this video, in the caption, the mom says, "As a mom with ADHD and BPD, it breaks my heart knowing I probably am the pink tote mom some days. However, I am apologetic and take accountability for those moments, and that's what's important here." And I completely agree with her. So I hope that she's not sitting there beating herself up, because taking accountability for your actions and trying to do better, that's the most important thing. And those are more of the moments that I think that we can relate to, that are those pink tote lid moments. My concern is when we have people that truly did grow up with genuinely abusive parents, lumping them in with these other people, and then nobody knows if they really were just a normal parent with unhinged emotions at times, or somebody that really could not control themselves and took out their anger in ways that are illegal against their child. This woman, I did listen to her whole story, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. Honestly, I don't want to trigger anybody and I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube because there are some things that people are sharing that are very graphic and that their parents should probably be in jail for some of this behavior. But she describes how her dad had very strict rules about what time she went to school, what time she was home from school. And she goes into detail about how she even had to go to school at a time where there were these tests going on and she didn't actually need to be there, but he believes that since the school was open, she did need to be there. So she showed up. The teacher gave her some projects and she was going to stay a few minutes later to finish up one of the things she was working on. And that made her a few minutes late. And that resulted in some very severe, unhinged, illegal, shall we say, punishment from her dad. We'll listen to just a few seconds of it, but I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to trigger anybody with her story, but this is on the other end of the spectrum of these moments.
After school had ended, I called my stepmother to ask my father if I could stay to do the bulletin board. I made this call towards the end of the day. She told me to let her call my father and wait in the office and she would call me back. She said, do not leave until you hear back from me. I said, okay. They told me that I couldn't wait in the office and they sent me back outside. So I went back to working on my little hearts until I heard back from my stepmother. My stepmother got back to me about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes after Regents ended and said, your father said that you cannot stay, pack up and go home immediately. So I said, okay. And I put all the stuff for the bulletin board away and I packed up my belongings and I went home thinking that I had done everything correctly. The 5 to 10 minutes that it had taken for me to receive a response and pack up my things caused me to miss the first bus that my dad said that I should be on. But for once, because I know that I called home, I was not worried. So I'm thinking, things are sweet. I'm on the bus riding home. I'm kicking my feet. I had a good day, damn it. I arrive home maybe about 10 minutes after the regular time that I'm supposed to be home. I get to the door and I push my key in the door. And before I can even finish turning my key, the door opens and my father snatches me in by my hair and throws me on the floor.
And I've listened to a lot of people talk about truly horrifying things that they endured from their parents that involve things like getting punched and being starved. And we can all agree that those are far, far above normal, irrational outbursts of emotion. When we listen to the original story of the pink toad lid moment and what that was based on, where a mom yelled at her daughter because she was frustrated with her daughter for not understanding what she needed, even though she herself was being incredibly vague about what she was requesting, that's not in the same category as a parent who legitimately beats up their child. And therefore, I don't think we should be calling those moments pink toad lid moment. And you can let me know if I'm making any sense. I agree that we should absolutely apologize to our kids when we lash out at them. And I always try to sit down with my kids when I get more upset than I should have, or I'm upset for no real reason, and I recognize that I impacted them. I also try to explain to them that I'm a human being, and sometimes, even as an adult, I lose control of my emotions, and that there's a really good chance if I overreact in a situation that it has absolutely nothing to do with them, and that I'm probably stressed about other things. And that doesn't make it okay, and it's not their fault. But I do my best and I try to make it better next time. And I also think that it's important to share that perspective with them so that they know when they get to be an adult and they are in my position, that they don't beat themselves up for being an irrational human being at times, and that they know how to address these things with their kids. And this last video I want to share is just of this mom offering a little bit more of a balanced perspective to this whole thing.
Okay, pink tote mom. A lot of people are coming at the pink tote mom. If you haven't had a pink tote moment as a mom, are you even, do you have a daughter? So I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm saying we need to chill, because you're coming at this teenager and telling her mom's abusive. And she's saying, my mom's not abusive. My mom had a flip out moment. Have you gone through perimenopause or menopause? And again, I'm not saying it's right, but for those of you who are watching all these videos going, oh my God, I've lashed out at my kid. I've yelled at my kid before. There are other things that probably happened between them before that. And again, I'm not an advocate for yelling at your kid, but we can't be gentle parenting 24 hours a day, because some of our kids ain't gentle. Okay? Sometimes it's okay to raise your voice or to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. The kid was probably being a brat, and the mom probably had enough, and the dad had enough, and they said, get out of the bathroom. Enough is enough. Enough is enough with the attitude as well. Chill, everyone. Stay in your own lane. And teenagers, I don't recommend posting on TikTok because people are brutal and your front lobe isn't fully developed yet. Love you.
I love what she had to say. I think she's just trying to tell people just to relax and to not get caught up and start comparing your experiences to other people and blowing up these moments that you've had into something that they're not. And obviously, if you are a parent that needs help or needs therapy or tends to react this way far more than you should, then get the help and the resources that you need. And we don't know what was happening behind the scenes. And that's why I say we only get one side of the story. We don't get the context. We don't get all of the other contributing factors. And that doesn't make yelling at your kid okay, but we've all been there when you've told your kid to do something 900 times and they haven't done it, and then you yell and they're like, why are you yelling at me? And you're like, because I was nice the first like 5 times I asked you to do it, and now you kind of get a different tone of voice at this point. And the interesting thing is, after all of this blew up, the same girl made a series of videos defending her mom and calling people out in the comments for trying to tell her that her mom is abusive. And I'm not going to play them because, again, this young lady really seems to like her F-bombs, and I hope she's okay. And I hope that she and her mom were able to work things out. But it sounds like, as I said, it blew up into something that she never intended it to be. And her mom has no idea that her story has fueled this entire global trauma dump in all of these other parents. And I just have to say, I know I'm going to get comments from people telling me that their parents were horrible and they did horrific things to them, and telling me that I'm minimizing their experiences and trying to silence people who need to talk about their abuse. Just to reiterate, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about parents who just have those normal human moments and lose their cool at times and slam the door at times, and just asking them to just have a little bit of perspective. I genuinely want people who are actually harmful to their kids to be held accountable and to get the help that they need. I also don't want parents who have those human moments to get the idea that they're the same as people who are truly monsters. That's my only point. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one.